Hello, 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 and happy Thursday to all of us. I hope you and yours are doing great. Welcome to another live stream on YouTube, community event that we have on a weekly basis. As always, we're always looking forward to these community events as they give us the opportunity to literally engage on a much broader way on this YouTube platform. It has a better reach, reaches more people, and also it brings awareness to our ecosystem. It brings awareness to our industry as a crypto industry as a whole. And most importantly, it serves as one of our four pillars, which is education, to really inform, educate, and inspire not just our community, but anybody else that was able to make it in today's live or that will be listening to it later on. As you see, today's topic is just current news and mainstream adaptation of the cryptocurrency. There's so much going on right now that I think is great to dedicate a session on, just to summarize what's happening right now, the current events, the latest news, and how that will affect us in the mid to long term. Like we say, these are very important factors, and since we're in the industry, it's very important for us as a crypto enthusiasts or as a community to be up to date, and also to have a broad general understanding of not just tokens and cryptocurrencies, but on finance, on monetary system, on inflation, on liquidity, on the business cycles, the 4 years, the impacts that inflation has, and like efficiencies and sustainability aspects, the challenges in the industry. These are all aspects that we all need to really have a general understanding about, and this will help us to literally make more sound decisions and be up to date, and especially avoid making irrational decisions, because this industry is very emotional, and we tend to make very rational decisions when we either experience fear or greed. And this is how this industry, not just the crypto space, but financial market in general, is being led, even the stock market. So with all that said, I'd like us to jump right into the topic today. Like we said, again, our current news. We're going to look at some current events, some updates, what's happening right now relating to our industry. And then, of course, as usual, we will zoom back in and discuss how that relates to our ecosystem and what added value that we bring to the community, to the industry. And then, as always, we'll close out with a tweet, with a retweet event, as we usually do. With that said, I want to once more welcome all of you that were able to make it today on today's streams. As always looking forward to having these sessions with you. It gives us the opportunity to highlight our industry, the crypto space, and also highlight our ecosystem. So once more, welcome to all of you that were able to make it. Thank you for making it and for participating today. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to acknowledge all of you that were able to make it today, and to appreciate all of you. And then after that, we'll jump right into the topic. As always, this is a platform for us as a community. So if there's anything that you want to add or something, I'll go through the comments at the end as we are retweeting. And then if you have any feedbacks or follow-up questions, feel free to place them in the chat, and I'll go through them, and then we'll discuss them as well. So with that said, let's come and acknowledge who is here. Dave Demo is here. Good day to you, your family, and the BRL community. I'm still amazed at how early and privileged we are to be here at this time. Absolutely, that's a fact. We can't really underscore how early we are, but it's easier said how early we are. But once we highlight and see, especially as we go through this session today, we'll really understand how early we are, but how things are really picking up on a fast pace. So absolutely. Brother Cryptorizer says, hello, Steve, Wino, and BULLRUN family. I'm ready for another epic session. Bring on the crypto news and knowledge, good brother Steve. Always a pleasure having you around, Cryptorizer. And thank you for your feedback, and glad you were able to make it. Great brother Theo. Greetings, my great brother Steve, great mama, dearest Mama Wino, and my entire amazing BULLRUN family. Can't wait to soak in all the wisdom, info, and gems our awesome founder will be sharing with us. Let's go. Always a pleasure seeing you, hearing from you, or reading from you, my great brother Theo. Thank you for the feedback. We are just as thrilled to go through this session today. My great brother Thembi is here as well. Welcome, brother Thembi. Greetings, amazing Steve, your Mama Wino, and the BRL community. I am eagerly waiting to hear the latest from the wonderful crypto and finance world. Absolutely. There's so much going on right now, and it's worth dedicating this session to current events and to really see how all the adaptation process is accelerating. Brother Glenn, great brother Glenn is here as well, says Grand Rising all, and hello to everyone. And thank you, brother Steve, for another day of information and keeping us up to date. Always a pleasure hearing or reading from you, my great brother Glenn as well. And we are just as excited and looking forward to this session today. Queen Val says, hello, bull runners. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday back to you as well. Always nice seeing you in the community. Improved 2022. Hopefully FTC will crack down on all this nonsense. Absolutely. This is what the regulations are good for. It's always good to be able to have clarity within the regulations. Queen Nancy, always a pleasure seeing you in the community. Greetings and blessings to all. To our brother Steve, happy Thursday, BRL community, and I'm so delighted to be here today. Let's go, bull runners. Always a pleasure, and we are just as delighted to have you here, Queen Nancy. Queen Nosy is here as well. Greetings to you all, dear kings and queens. It's a pleasure to join you today after a long time on this platform. Greetings to our Queen Mother, Mama Wino, our dear brother Steve. Yes, can't wait. Always a pleasure having you here as well. Queen Nosy, thank you for being present today. Queen Lati is here as well. Greetings, BULLRUN family. It's another day of great expectations. Today I read about the MasterCard for crypto. How I hope to hear more being said about it. Absolutely. We're going to discuss just that, Queen Lati, so you can really hear more about it. That's what it's all about. It's a major event. It's a major milestone, so definitely we're going to look at that. I have Queen Grace here as well. Queen Grace, welcome. Always a pleasure seeing you here as well. Hello, Mr. Steve, our mama, and the whole BULLRUN family. It's another exciting time to learn more from you. Thank you for your generosity and pouring all you have learned into us freely. Absolutely, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure seeing you, Queen Grace, on all these platforms, and thank you for participating as well. We have Queen Val here as well, sharing the links. So welcome to all the new members that are new in the community. Feel free to use these links. The first one here is for the BULLRUN Telegram group and the website. You can join and do your research as we speak. We have the same for Killer Whale as well, and Survivor as well. So thank you, Queen Val, for putting these out. Queen Amelia is here as well. Welcome, Queen Amelia. It's a pleasure seeing you here. I'm grateful to be here at a time like this. Thanks, Queen Mom and Brother Steve, for the education. It's a pleasure seeing you here, and it's a great event that you are participating in. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. Queen Patricia is here as well. Good evening, family. Good evening, Steve. Thank you again for your commitment. Stay protected and blessed always. Thank you very much, Queen Patricia. May you also remain protected and blessed as well. Always a pleasure seeing you within the community, and we're looking forward to this event today. And then we have my brother Abdullah. Warm greetings to you all. Warm greetings back to you too, my brother Abdullah. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. I see your beautiful comments that you put out there on Twitter. Very enlightening. Thank you for your activity, your consistency, and always showing up on these community events. You are very much appreciated. And then we have Queen Mother Wino, of course. Greetings, queens and kings. Always looking forward to these sessions. Hope you are getting ready for the bull run. Thanks, Steve, for all you do for this amazing community. Thank you just as much for your leadership, your guidance, your encouragement, your support, and always a pleasure seeing you in the community like you always are. And with that said, community, thank you all for participating, for being here. Welcome to all of you. Let me share my screen and let's get this session going. If you can bear with me, I'll share my screen so we can kickstart this. So yes, community, as always, we're just going to briefly, let me refresh. We're just going to briefly touch base on the market. It seems like it's really been picking up. We see Bitcoin is at 69, above 69. Ethereum is back at 3,800. We are up 1.7% for the last 24 hours. This is great. Volumes are picking up again. So this is good news. We always like to see this. As we see, the market is always up and down depending on the news or the current event or whatever the case may be. But let's move on to today's topic. We're going to go through some news, some current events and just some news snippets, and we're going to discuss in detail and just look at it as far as how it relates to crypto adaptation, how it's becoming mainstream, and also just to be up to date on current events. So let's start with the first article. I believe this is very, very interesting. This is the New York Stock Exchange, and they're actually at the Consensus 2024. This is a very, very upscale crypto meeting, crypto event that a lot of upscale individuals, institutions, politicians, business pioneers, and that are attending, And so in this event, not just the president, but also the CEO of the New York Stock Exchange, they are actually talking about considering trading the cryptocurrency actually on the New York Stock Exchange, but they're limited to the change in US politics, opportunities, and blockchain tech improvement, for the traditional markets. So let's look at just briefly, right? So like we say, the New York Stock Exchange president, Lynn Martin, she is open to offering crypto trading at the New York Stock Exchange. Who would have thought this, a few years ago? Who would have ever imagined that the New York Stock Exchange will be like, hey, the president will be open to say, hey, we're open to trade crypto, But the lack of clear regulation are an obstacle, right? She says, and also the US regulatory environment, it's definitely going to improve in the next couple of years, regardless of the election outcome. The CEO also said, and you see the two right here at the Consensus 2024 meeting, which is actually taking place. So this is one of the major issues, situations or news that I wanted to share with us, because now this is completely mainstream. This just highlights how the crypto space is not just political now. It's not just institutions now, but it's a global event now. It's something that is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and everybody seems to now slowly warming up to crypto, warming up to the blockchain technology, and embracing it in a manner. And so that all we need to do now is anticipate clarity, regulations, and this is what we're anticipating now. This is great. This is really good to know, because for a while now, US has always been looked at as dragging their feet, as the nation that is anti-crypto, that is not embracing crypto and is not ready to put forth regulations, crypto-friendly regulations in place. And this is now, all of a sudden, this is changing, and it's changing very, very quickly. So this is good news. It's always good to see this. And like we say, this consensus meeting is taking place in Texas, and the New York Stock Exchange would consider offering cryptocurrency, like we said, if the regulatory status of such an expansion by the stock market giant was clear, right? And that was the president that says that. If there was clear regulations and guidance in the US, it will be an opportunity to look at, right? So they're considering it, they're open for it. And this is a major event, consensus. It's in Texas, US this time. So another thing also we need to really emphasize is that the US listed spot Bitcoin ETFs, right? And these ETFs already amassed 58 billion of assets. And that's a strong sign that there's demand for regulated crypto products, right? So, like we said, this is now getting to a stage where institutions, politicians realize that citizens, residents are pro-crypto. They realize that retailers, there's a demand, not just by retailers like the previous bull cycles, but now institutions are showing high demand also, right? And as we proceed through this session, we'll see how much interest institutions really have and how far they're already gone to really showcase that. So, like we said, while traditional financial markets and digital assets are increasingly getting intertwined, with more traditional financial heavyweights offering crypto products, the lack, again, of regulatory clarity is still weighing on the industry, slowing innovation, right? However, this is now changing, like we saw. This is literally changing, and we're really seeing how we'll go through it as we go through the sessions. We'll see how this literally is changing now, on a political level, institutional level, not just retailers. So retailers are no longer fighting for crypto or, the only ones that are pro crypto now. It's everybody now seems to be jumping on the bandwagon. So the fact that we've seen 58 billion US dollars to come to the ETFs, this has been a strong sign that the market is looking for regulation in traditional structures. Why is it important for traditional finance to really work together in harmony with the crypto projects? It's because we don't have to reinvent the wheels this way. These established traditional financial institutions, they already have the individuals, they have the expertise, they have the licensing, they have the clients, right? They're regulated, they have the means, the resources. So all of this is very important, and it's beautiful to see, and we'll see as we progress today how effective that is if you can collaborate traditional financial institutions with existing companies, or if you see traditional institutions single-handedly making changes, adding value into the crypto space. So hopefully the US Securities and Exchange Commission, the US SEC, saw the inflows and said, hey, this makes a lot of sense considering Bitcoin ETFs have been a tremendous success. They literally have been an amazing success. And also, besides the NYC, like New York Stock Exchange is the largest. Let's just have an idea how large it is. It has a market cap of over 25 trillion. That's how large this NYC is, like New York Stock Exchange. It is extremely, the largest actually. It is the largest exchange in the world. And they are considering, of course, trading crypto if regulations become more friendly. Now, there's a rival, right, based in Chicago Mercantile Exchange. They are known, they are a giant in regulated crypto futures trading, right? So this is where Bitcoin futures was listed first, and this is where Ethereum futures was also listed first. So usually when they get listed in CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, it it's the prerequisite to then get listed on other exchanges as a spot ETF, but they are known for their futures ETF, right? For futures, crypto futures trading. But nonetheless, they're also planning to launch more spot crypto trading to clients, right? And this is what they reported earlier this month. So even they are also open to be not just focusing on futures trading, but also spot trading. Like we said, futures trading are for those that are betting against the market, against the trading against a future price of the asset, right? And spot is today's price, and this is what we are more familiar with. So this is all that I really wanted to highlight here, because it's really important to see how these established institutions, exchange platforms, New York Stock Exchange, and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is also into this. One final thing I want to look at: 5 years of evolution happened in 5 minutes, right? I'm really optimistic about what it means in this country. I think just like in Europe, just like in Hong Kong, you're going to have regulators codified. Regulators codified. Hey, what's your reasonable digital asset industry look like? So it's just beautiful to see how even politicians, and it doesn't matter who, it really doesn't matter who, we will see major changes, and this is the most important thing, right? And another thing that I want to highlight here as well is that the regulators would likely push traditional firms towards developing private blockchains instead of using existing blockchain settlements. And the reason why is because regulators, right? They want to get their power-hungry, sticky little fingers in everything. How do you get fingers on Solana, or how do you get your fingers to something that is decentralized? It's not possible, right? So decentralization, once more, plays a major role and is a hedge, protects against overreach of governments or unwelcomed institutions. But the regulators will most likely push traditional financial firms to developing their own private blockchain so that they can regulate those private blockchains, because public blockchains such as Ethereum, for example, you can't regulate it, right? It's a free market. So this is what I wanted to share as far as this, and just to show you the scale, how large this is. Actually, it's 25 trillion, the New York Stock Exchange alone. It's at 25 trillion as far as market cap. So it's a big deal. It's the largest exchange in the world. Let's look at something else here. We discussed this earlier, right? And we see here how these individuals, like this, the president and the CEO, were talking about how they need regulators, right? Clear regulation, clear regulatory guidance, right? And in order for that to happen, politics has to happen. Lobbying needs to take place, right? And this is exactly what we've been discussing. This has been purely, especially the Ethereum ETF approval. Now we know it's been literally a political thing, because like we said, US is in need of making moves, simply because the US dollar is literally being not used as much by large economies such as the BRICS, like we discussed earlier. And they need to find ways, and the best way is to embrace the crypto, embrace the blockchain technology, specifically stable coins, right? Like we discussed multiple times, because that is the way how they can do, they can control their debt. That is, they can manage their debt. And the debt issue is really spiraling out of control. And the best way to control it and to have institutions that have resources and that are capable, willing, and able to purchase all these US debts. And blockchain is the answer, and stablecoins are the solution. With that said, I like us to just look at briefly. We saw how Elon Musk is already now advising the president, right? Donald Trump, on crypto policies. Who would have thought about this? Who would have imagined that eventually we'll have, especially Elon Musk? He's known for his electric vehicles, Tesla, right? His rockets. right? And his passion for Dogecoin, meme coin, right? And that he likes to tweet, right? So we see how politics now is meeting, entrepreneurs, social media influencers, not just your common influencer, but this is an individual that is, for a long time, has been the wealthiest individual in the world, and is still one of the wealthiest in the world. An individual that has a strong following and has a major influence in the crypto space. And this is an individual that is actively having conversation and is advising a running contendant, in politics, a potential president. So we see all these moves now. Who would have ever imagined that eventually crypto will be so, entangled in politics, with institutions, exchanges, going mainstream so quickly? Who would have imagined, with all the negative backlash of anything outside of Bitcoin being a scam and unregulated? And now, a few days ago, actually a week ago, we got the approval of Ethereum ETF, and that's now the next big thing, right? So this is exactly what we meant also. And let me roll up here. This is our next article, right? The Ethereum ETFs. And whatever BlackRock wants, BlackRock gets. BlackRock has a major influence in the industry. BlackRock is known as not just the largest asset manager in the space, but its founder and CEO, Larry Fink, is literally the fourth arm of the government. He's often used as an advisor to the government, to the feds, if it comes to debts, if it comes to like making way. And this is why he's always involved in so many things, and he gets his way. So anyway, BlackRock now also amended the Ethereum application, because they also took down the staking part for the S1 approval form, and they already have initial seed investors already invested and purchased 400,000 shares, the Ethereum ETF shares, before it officially got approved, right? It got pre-approved already, and they already went a step further and already invested heavily in it. Let's look at it. So BlackRock, they already filed the amended S1 form for its proposed spot Ethereum exchange fund, of course. And this revealed a lot of information came out. And one of the information that came out was that there was a seed capital investor who had already purchased the initial shares, and this is really common for BlackRock, because if you remember, even with spot Bitcoin ETF, it was actually the same amount. It was 10 million. Remember when BlackRock filed for S1 form application, they also had a seed investor for spot Bitcoin ETFs for the same $10 million amount. They have the same process again on May 21st. The seed capital investor invested $10 million, purchased 400,000 shares that went for $25 each. So this is what this form shows. And this is the final form that, once approved, it will enable spot Ethereum ETFs to be traded. So this is like the final form that needs to be applied for, and this is the final step. And they amended it. They probably took out also the staking part of it, and now it's going to be waved through. So this is what I wanted to highlight here as well. And another thing I want to highlight, and this is the difference with the Ethereum ETF, is that, of course, subject to approval, the assets held in ETH, in these ETFs, they can be redeemed not just for cash, but also for ETH. So these ETFs are going to be different than the Bitcoin ETFs. You can either redeem them for cash, or if you want to, for ETH. This is a major change, and this is a major step up. So either they land from Hong Kong and they want to be competitive, and this is great. So this is great news. It's going to be a more attractive ETF than that of Bitcoin. And another thing that I want to highlight here as well is, of course, like we know, the Security and Exchange Commission, they have approved several Ethereum ETF listings in the US, right? And this has brought a really, really positive sentiment into the market, because keep in mind, Ethereum is the largest blockchain that is using smart contracts, that has applications on them. So as far as scale, it's a big deal, because most of the applications, most of the liquidity within a blockchain is on the Ethereum blockchain. So this is so bullish. It has such a positive impact on the entire market. So anyway, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, since it's approved, it's been such a success, right? It's been a major success for the company and for the industry as well. It's such a success that it became the world's largest publicly traded Bitcoin fund. It flipped Grayscale. This is impressive. Grayscale started with over 29 billion in assets. And now, within 4 weeks, a little bit over 4 weeks, it got flipped. BlackRock flipped Grayscale and now sits at around 20 billion in asset under management. And this is Bitcoin alone, right? And as far as inflows, this BlackRock, or known as IBIT shares ETF, it has taken over $16 billion in inflows since January alone. So this is major, right? And also among the investors were state pension funds, like we discussed, the one in Wisconsin, like we discussed, for example, that invested over 160 million. So we see how BlackRock, they don't just come into something for the sake of it. When they get into the game, they take leadership. They want to be the top. They want to be the best, right? And we see here how quickly they flipped and became the largest publicly traded Bitcoin fund. And they finally flipped Grayscale. This is impressive. Now they have the deepest liquidity as far as ETFs are concerned. This is a major, major step. And let's look at this even clearer, more closely. Let's look at this in more details. ETFs combined, they have a total of over 1 million Bitcoin. This is represents close to 5% of the total Bitcoin supply out of the 21 million. This is massive, because considering that they've only been on the market for a little over 4 months, and already they're cornered for 5% of it. And already, let's look at it here. You see, IBIT, they're the number one now. They officially flipped Grayscale. They're on top now with over 289,000 Bitcoin, right? Presenting 20 billion in value. This is impressive. And how impressive is this? Within 4 weeks, community, a little over 4 weeks, they have 20 billion worth of liquidity in a little over 4 weeks. And if we look at what we accomplished in 15 years, we see 1.4 billion, right? We have 1.4 billion. And here we have Bitcoin showing us 20 billion, BlackRock alone, just BlackRock alone. And as a collective, they're sitting at over 71 billion in total. So we see that liquidity plays a major role. We just can't take liquidity out of the equation. It plays a major role, and whoever has the deepest liquidity will always dominate, will attract big whales, big institutions, will attract traders. This is the goal. The aim is always in capture liquidity. Once you capture liquidity, liquidity comes with volume. Volume and liquidity brings dominance. And now they're dominating the market simply because they have the liquidity and the volume. And this is how they're generating revenue. And they're making tons of money. They're making hundreds of millions, if not billions, in revenue, just simply by trading these ETFs, BlackRock, Bitcoin alone. Again, let's understand the importance of liquidity. It's very important. It's because of liquidity that they are generating so much revenue, that they are attracting so many investors, right? Especially state pension funds now. Major state pension funds are now jumping in because they don't have to worry about if they want to invest 100 million. BlackRock has 20 billion in liquidity. So 100 million is nothing. It's a drop in the ocean. So they can trade hundreds of millions without making the market move too much, right? But they can't do that in the open market. They can't do it. There's only 1.4 billion in liquidity on open markets, like on centralized exchanges. This, when you put in hundreds of million in here, they will make a big splash. The markets will move. The price will be extremely volatile. And these pension funds, they don't want to make a lot of noise. They just want to be discreet. They don't even want people to know that they're investing heavily into these Bitcoin funds. They just want to get in unnoticed and move on. So again, the takeaway here, BlackRock has flipped Grayscale. It is literally the largest liquidity fund right now, Bitcoin fund in the world right now. This is major. This is really amazing. And it's surpassed MicroStrategy as well. So let's move on. We are discussing how cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology is literally going mainstream. This is now, we're talking about the largest bank, right, in Singapore. This is Singapore's largest bank, and they are an Ethereum whale. They have a nearly to 650 million worth of ETH right now. And they already made over $200 million just by holding the ETH holdings alone. And we haven't even started going through the bull cycle. So you see how these institutions, these financial institutions, are literally seeing the potential of cryptocurrency, how they have alternative sources of generating revenue without effortlessly, just by holding Ethereum alone. They already made over 200 million. And this is not it. Let's look at this company. Let's look at this bank, what they do actually. So like we say, the address has already made 200 million just from their holdings alone, from the Ethereum holdings. And they're actually holding over 173,000 worth of ETH, right? And this is incredible. This is a bank now. Banks, financial institutions are now holding assets, right? Either ETF shares, and this bank is literally holding Ethereum itself, the asset itself. So this is major. This is not an ETF. This is the asset itself. So the largest bank in Singapore, they are a whale, right? Ethereum whale. And what's beautiful about this is actually that, let's look at it here. The bank is not new to crypto, and they're offering a range of services. This is the beautiful thing. They are doing custody. They're into custody already. So if you have, this is institutional level custody. So literally they're doing what Coinbase is doing with Bitcoin, they're doing with Ethereum. So they're offering Ethereum custody services, right? They also have a trading exchange for security tokens, and also offer portfolio management. They have an application for both traditional and crypto assets. So in recent report, the bank also highlighted the growing interest in the crypto market from retail investors, high frequency traders, and hedge funds, right? So not just retail investors alone now. High frequency traders are high net worth individual, and are also these institution grade traders. And then hedge funds, of course, are large funds, liquidity funds that are also participating in this. So we see that banks now are literally holding, their whales in holding crypto assets, specifically Ethereum now. And what they're going to do here is, of course, once the regulations is waved through, guess what they'll be doing? They'll start staking Ethereum to generate even more revenue, right? And because Ethereum has not gone through a bull cycle being a proof of stake, this cycle, we're going to really see how it how a decentralized, not just a decentralized, but deflationary blockchain works. A deflationary blockchain that decreases in value with every trade, and that you can stake and remove tokens from the circulating supply. So this, like we said earlier, makes Ethereum a much more attractive investment for institutions, for financial institutions. It's more attractive than Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you just buy it and then you put in a cold storage like Coinbase, and then there's nothing you can do with it. But with Ethereum, besides the obvious increase in price, they already made over 200 million, right? Besides that, they can stake it and earn even more, right? And that's the difference. That makes Ethereum a much more attractive investment. And like we discussed in our last community event, these institutions are buying Ethereum directly. They're buying it from the market. So they're putting the liquidity on the blockchain, exactly what we discussed earlier. This is the beautiful thing about it. It doesn't go to ETFs. It's literally adding liquidity to the blockchain. And this is what's beautiful about this. This is what I wanted to share with us here, and as far as this article. And like they say here, the bank, they're patiently awaiting the spot Ethereum ETFs, of course, to be approved, because they know that they'll get a lot of businesses, and which are expected to boost the cryptocurrency mainstream institutional adoption. So you see how institutions are patiently waiting for the ETH ETFs to go through, because now they'll be able to purchase those as well, in addition to the real assets that they'll probably stake, and they can also invest in ETFs. And it's good because it will, in addition to staking, ETFs is good for Ethereum, because that means more Ethereum is going to be removed from their circulating supply. And this, in combination with them being a deflationary blockchain, is going to literally make Ethereum a very attractive investment. And because we are listed on the Ethereum blockchain, we will benefit from all the success of Ethereum and all the attention that Ethereum is getting. Let's move on now to what Queen Lati was discussing earlier. In our comments, we read how Queen Lati had mentioned that she read on MasterCard. And let's discuss MasterCard now. This is a major deal, community, because who would have believed or thought about this earlier? Before we get into MasterCard, I really want to highlight one thing. This is the reason why it's so important always to ask yourself, when you get into an ecosystem or a crypto project, what's the added value that this project or this ecosystem bring to the community, to the industry? What's the added value? What solution does it have to the challenges in the space? The challenge here is that a lot of institutions or retailers are hesitant of opening wallets because, first of all, the 12 seed phrases, and then they can get lost, right? And then the address in the forms of numbers, it's very complex. If you don't put the right numbers, or you miss a number, you might either send your tokens to a wrong wallet, or you might lose your tokens altogether. You have to write down your seed phrases. You have to keep them somewhere. You might forget them, you might lose them, and this is how you might potentially lose all your assets. So that's the challenge in the industry. And this is what this specific product that MasterCard has brought out is addressing, bringing simplicity, to all the wallets, and all how to interact with each other, how you transfer from peer to peer, and how you make it easier without having to write down your seed phrases and go through all those hassles. This is a solution that MasterCard is bringing. You would have thought that it would come from Ethereum, or maybe from Uniswap, or another major crypto project would come with a solution like this, but it came from a traditional financial institution such as MasterCard. And this is what makes it even more valuable, and this is what makes it so satisfying, because this is MasterCard, that is the second largest payment processor in the world. They have millions, hundreds of millions of clients globally. They have the networks, they have the resources, they have the experts, they are regulated. So this is major. So let's look at it, what they actually doing. So they came up with something called a MasterCard crypto credential. So I'm only going to use MCC. So when I say MCC, we know what we mean. MasterCard crypto credential. So it already went live, right? Peer-to-peer is what we are so familiar with. I can send funds to you, you can send them to me without borderless, no middleman, no government in between. And this is what makes it so satisfying. They already went through piloting transactions, they were successful, and they're consistently adding new partners into their ecosystem. So what's happening right now? And for the first time, literally, this is why when we always say, oh, we are so early, this industry is still so young, we are literally extremely early. And like the sentence starts, it's for the first time. Crypto exchange users now, they'll be able to send and receive crypto using their MasterCard, MCC aliases. So instead of the typical long and complex blockchain addresses, like these complex wallet, addresses, now you can just use an alias, right? You can use like a word or your name or whatever, your pet's name, whatever you want. It's so much more efficient. So the live transaction capabilities are enabled on the Bit2Me, Ethereum, and Mercado Bitcoin exchanges. And this allows them to enable blockchain transactions simply and securely between Latin America and European countries. Currently, it is Argentina, Brazil, Chile, France, Guatemala, Mexico, Paraguay, Peru, Portugal, Spain, Switzerland, and Uruguay so far. And they'll be able to send cross-border and domestic transfers on multiple currencies and blockchain. Now, keep in mind, these transactions are on the chain. They're on the blockchain. This is what makes this so special. This is incredible. It's for the first time. This has never been done before. So not only are you transacting on blockchain on a broad international level, but now you're using MasterCard, which is a well-renowned, well-established, regulated financial institution with hundreds of millions of clients. And you can use a username as your wallet, for your wallet address, right? It's a username. Let's read further. What does this mean? So this MCC helps verify interactions among consumers and businesses using blockchain network, like we said. It provides the assurance that the user has met a set of verification standards and confirms that the recipient's wallet supports the transferred asset. Like we said, what's the challenge right now? Often, many send funds or the assets to the wrong address, either by mistake because they copied the wrong address, and once those funds are sent out, it's irreversible. There's nothing you can do about it, and they're lost. So this MCC use case doesn't allow that to happen. Let's read further. Through the exchange of metadata, MCC eliminates the complexity of a consumer knowing which assets or chains are supported by the person they are looking to send the funds to, bringing more trust and certainty to these transactions. Like we just said, you have to literally be a geek. You have to literally be know what you're doing. You have to have technical knowledge, right? You have to have the right network, right? You have to have the right address to that specific network in order to know that you're sending your assets to the right person. For example, if you want to send Ethereum, you need an Ethereum address to send to, right? And if your friend gives you a Binance address and you use that address to send, that's how your funds are lost and you can't recover them. So this MCC helps with that. It literally notifies you, right? that you can't send these funds because this specific address is not the right one for you. So it doesn't allow the transactions to go through. This is the use case for this. So this is beautiful. You don't have to have the knowledge. It will let you know that no, these funds you're trying to send, the person you're trying to send them to, this is not the right address. This is not the right. They're not on the right network. Ask them to give you the right one. That's what it literally does, and it eliminates all the seed phrases you have to put in, and it puts it simply in the form of a username that you can use. This, of course, brings so much more mainstream adoption, and it removes all the complexities and all the risks involved in just simply opening a wallet, you know. So this is a major deal because it enables users to avoid all the risks that are associated with it, right? So the exchange will first verify a user under the set of the MCC standards, right? At that point, the user obtains a username to send and receive funds across all supported exchanges. When a user initiates a transfer, the MCC verifies that the recipient's username is valid and that the recipient's wallet supports the digital asset and associated blockchain. So it verifies that your token is on the right network and is going to the right address. And it verifies that for you. And it finds out that it's not the right network with the associated asset, it won't go through. It will alert you that you need to make some changes or you need more information, and you won't lose your assets. So this is a major deal. If the receiving wallet does not support the asset or blockchain, the sender is notified and the transaction does not proceed, protecting all parties from the potential loss of funds. What a great use case is this. This eliminates all the fear, all the uncertainties, all the hustle, and all the complexities, and this opens doors for mainstream adoption. This is what makes it so special. This is what makes it major. And to add to the main part of this, this is MasterCard, right? This is an institution that has been around for decades, that is being regulated, that already has established client base. This is what makes it so special, right? And this is the beautiful thing of it. I'm sure you won't be able to hear this, but just to show you how beautiful the interface is, right? How simple it is to use it. You see here, first thing, you get verified. You know, you look whether you can use whatever you want to use. Like in this case, they're using like the Gmail email address, and then you can create a username that suits you best. They're using Alice, you know, as an example. So you can use your pet's name, your name, whatever is easy for you. Once you set that up, now you attained your address, your username. Now you can receive and send funds from that username, right? Across all exchanges. You don't have to have any knowledge of assets or, you know, what platforms and networks. You don't have to have any knowledge whatsoever. You can just send funds to that specific username of your friends, your families, and then it will verify for you. This is how it shows you it's validating, right? It's showing you whether the assets you're trying to send will be received, right? And it tells you here, confirming that this username can receive any token. It can receive whatever asset that you wanted to send. It verifies it. Once it's through with verifying, now you can go ahead and send it. And all this is happening on the blockchain. You have a two-factor verification process that you can go through, and then as simple as that, you're sending money back and forth on a major network with millions of users. This is impressive. This is where we're headed. This is what's already happening, and this is a major breakthrough. They're working with a wallet already here, and this wallet is by Foxbit. They're accepting more partners, of course. Who knows? Maybe next thing we'll hear is that MetaMask is partnering with them, right? And we'll be able to be on that network as well. So who knows? But as for now, it's only Foxbit as their wallet of choice, and that's what they've been using to do all these transactions. So there was a question in the community, I remember, on how do you off ramp, right? Now that you've made your profits, now that you made your money in crypto, how do you bring it out in the real world? And here you are, you see solutions already with Visa. The other day, they're partnered with stablecoin USDC. Now MasterCard is also, they have their own off ramp as well. Like you see here, you can use your same wallet to connect, to interact, to bring your funds out, to send funds back and forth. This is a major step, community. And this is beautiful to see, because this is literally simplifying the onboarding process, right? It makes having a wallet, a crypto wallet, so much easier. You don't have to memorize any seed phrases. You don't have to write them down, and potentially you might lose them. You can just memorize your username. That's it, right? And you can change it if you don't remember. You can request password change and all that. It's so much easier, and this is what we needed, community. Also, this didn't just happen overnight. They've been discussing this. Actually, they announced this back in Miami on the 28th of April last year. So literally a year ago. So this has been being tested. It's been in the process of being tested multiple times. And it's not just something that just happened over the weekend, or they started working on it a few weeks ago. This has been in the works for over a year now, right? And this is what they say is like setting up and scaling trusted ecosystems to enable commerce is not new to MasterCard. So it's just beautiful to see how a major institution goes headfirst into crypto, solving challenges in the crypto space and making it easy for retailers specifically, but also obviously institutions to embrace crypto much easier. The biggest issue is always having your wallet, writing down those seed phrases, the 12 seed phrases. All that issue, is a major deal, and it can be a turnoff to many that are not technical, and copy pasting these long seed phrases, long addresses that maybe you copied the wrong address, and this is how you lose your funds. In this way, there is no way you can lose your funds. This system will ensure that it goes to the right individuals. You don't have to memorize your seed phrases. You don't have to write them down. So you're using two-factor authentication. It's very secure, very simple, user-friendly, and very familiar. We are very familiar with this type of two-factor notification. Using a username or email address is so much easier, and many people are familiar with that. So it will make having a crypto wallet seem so seamlessly, right? It won't be a hassle to open a wallet. And that's the takeaway of this. If we move forward, I also want to highlight one thing. And is that what we just discussed, the users of the peer-to-peer network, they'll be, like we said, able to use the aliases, the usernames, like we already said. And Ethereum already has the familiar services known as the ENS, but with Ethereum, you have to pay for those aliases, like for those usernames. But in this case, you just get them. You don't have to pay for it. So that's another thing that is so attractive to those that will be onboarding, right? You can use your username and you don't have to pay for it. And one thing I also want to highlight here is they want to focus on remittances, right? And the remittance market is estimated at 831 billion worldwide, just in 2022, right? And this went up roughly 16% from 717 billion back in 2020. So it keeps increasing. So remittance is a huge deal, is a major deal. And now, if all you have to do is use this MasterCard application, download that app, and now you can remit funds back and forth using crypto to your family members in South America, in Africa, Europe, everywhere. So this is something that is just incredible. And this is how early we are, that we are just experiencing what's normal in the traditional finance world. Now it's being used or introduced using the blockchain technology. So we are literally part of and experiencing the revolution of the blockchain technology. And this is when we say we are really early in this industry. Literally, we are extremely early in this industry. So this is just something else I wanted to highlight, how the remittance market is major, it's huge. And this is what MasterCard is tackling. If they can even have just 10% of this market share, that's 83 billion. And you can imagine how much fees they're going to generate just by having this use case that makes things so simple. And they're the first one to do it. So they're definitely going to capture the majority of the market. And who knows, MasterCard might flip Visa because of this. Let's move on. Not everything is rosy. We also have to talk about some things that are about to happen or that are happening based on regulations, and that is stable coins, right? So in this case, this TUSD is a stable coin, and it crashed literally by 79%. Why? Because Binance delisted it. Why did Binance delist it? It's because, remember, MiCA is happening in Europe. MiCA will be rolled out next month in June. By the end of June, MiCA will be in full effect, right? And to be compliant, Binance has already announced that they were going to delist certain stablecoins. Specifically, TUSD, at its peak, used to have roughly 3.5 billion in market cap. And just to put it in perspective, let's look at it. It would have been the fourth largest stablecoin. So this is not TUSD was the fourth largest stablecoin based on market cap. Currently, we see First Digital USD, like FDUSD, is currently also roughly 3 billion. So this TUSD stablecoin had a higher market cap than this one. So it used to be the fourth largest, because after this, we see DAI. And then after DAI is USDC and Tether. That's it. So this TUSD token used to literally be the fourth largest stablecoin. But now, because of regulations, now we are back to regulations, they had to be, Binance delisted them because they're not compliant, right? So in order for Binance to remain compliant, they had to delist certain pairs, right? And this caused this stablecoin to literally lose volume. They had volumes up to over 60, almost 70 billion trading volume, but now all that dropped, and now they are down to 500 million in trading volume, right? They lost 99% of their value since May, like a year ago, literally a year ago. They almost lost all of it. And this is what's about to happen with many other tokens, stable coins, due to regulations, right? And let's look further. This is how it looks like. This is now, they're down to 144th. So you see how much they lost, and the market cap is down to $500 million now, literally nothing. So it went from 3.5 billion to $500 million now. And it's literally the volume is now back down to 45 million, which is literally nothing if you're looking at stable coins, right? Why did this happen, right? So Binance plans to delist stablecoins. This wasn't a surprise. Keep in mind, this article was from 2023 in September. Binance already had announced that they had plans to delist stablecoins in Europe due to MiCA compliance, right? And this is not a shocker. So they're literally executing on what they said, because compliance is coming into the industry. And these are the shifts that we're about to experience. We're about to see a lot of changes. The market is about to be shaken up, not just stable coins, but a lot of other cryptocurrencies and tokens, community tokens are about to be shook up depending on the regulations that are about to be put in place. And Binance already said that they are planning to delist stablecoins in Europe, in the Europe market by June 2024. And this is exactly what they've been doing. And this is why you see they started with TUSD. They delisted some pairs that went with it. And this literally kills the project. Now, why am I highlighting this? Is because the reason why I'm highlighting this is because the next thing now is Tether, right? Tether being the largest stablecoin. And this MiCA, under MiCA, there will be a 260 million cap. So if you don't have the license in Europe, you can't, and you're a stablecoin issuer, you can't have more than 216 million in market cap. And we all know that Tether is the largest stablecoin with over 112 almost billion in market cap. So that means that next, what we're going to see next is this. Will MiCA regulation end Tether's dominance in Europe? This is now the next step that we're about to see. We're about to see how, because Tether has been really, as far as regulation, they haven't been transparent, right? And they're not regulated. They're not like regulated in a specific jurisdiction. Unlike USDC. USDC is literally being regulated by the US, and the assets are managed by BlackRock. So they are, as far as compliance and regulation and transparency, USDC is single-handedly the most transparent stablecoin in the industry. And they already, like we discussed also before, they are already applied for licenses, for MiCA license, and they got pre-approved already in Europe. So they're not just going to issue US stablecoin, but they're going to issue Euro stablecoin in the European market. And because they are already a large and well-established, well-regulated institution and issuer, they are going to have a high chance of dominating the European market. But Tether, there might be an end of their dominance if they don't, comply and are more transparent, and so on and so forth. So this is what this article I just want to highlight is that OKX already went ahead. It's one of the largest global crypto exchanges. They already went ahead and delisted all USDT trading pairs to ensure that there's compliance, with the MiCA. So you see how one of the largest global exchanges, OKX, they already delisted all USDT trading pairs already, anticipating the MiCA regulation being in full force June 30th, right? It will take place in June. So if it's one of the largest exchanges in the world, OKX already did that. Next thing, of course, it's going to be Binance. Binance is going to delist USDT as well. And the largest USDT holder, of course, is Binance, right? Binance is the largest USDT holder. And as we speak, community, I see that Killer Whale is out. Killer Whale is out to be retweeted. So as we are listening in, let's engage with the tweet. The Killer Whale is out. So like we were saying, we're about to experience major shifts these coming months as far as stablecoin regulations and stablecoin dominance is concerned. We're about to see a major flip, a major change. And with MiCA and the US also placing regulations, we'll see how the future of USDT will be impacted due to these regulations. And because USDT actually is the largest single-handedly, it's literally 3 times larger than, as far as market cap, 3 times larger, more than 3 times larger than USDC. So it will have a major impact in the industry, on the market. So this is important pay attention and monitor as Tether is going through this. And because Tether is an entity that is based outside of Europe, it's mandatory for them to establish a legal, recognized entity within the US, within the EU. So they will be required, they have to set up an office in one of the European member states and ensure that they have effective management takes place within the EU. So if Tether would need to seek authorization, they would have to seek authorization as either an electronic money institution or as a credit institution. And because Tether market cap is the largest, it's even more complex now, because they would likely be categorized as significant e-money token, and this will cause Tether will have to meet even higher requirements, right? And in order to be interoperability standards, and also to adhere to liquidity standards and liquidity management policies as well. So this is something that we have to look forward to. We have to really pay attention to, because it can affect the market heavily. As we see, if you delist stablecoin, especially if Binance does it, it has a major impact on the stablecoin itself. This used to be the fourth largest stablecoin, and just within days, within hours, it became 144th, and it's literally losing trading volume and the market cap extremely fast. The same fate might hit Tether if they are not compliant, if they don't, comply with the regulations, at least in Europe and the US, which are the two most largest markets. This might be their fate. I want us to look at one more thing here before we close, and that's this article. We spoke about this many times, and by now we should know this by heart. Cryptocurrencies have failed, right? The test of digital money. And we'll keep bringing this up until it really sinks in. Why did they fail to be digital money, right? Because they performed poorly as a medium of exchange or a store of value. And how do you perform poorly as a medium of exchange or a store of value? That happens if you lack liquidity, right? And this is why they said stable coins, right? Not cryptocurrency, will be part of the financial ecosystem in the future. This article aged very, very well. It aged extremely well. And we've verified this multiple times, and we've seen that the importance of stablecoins are simply because they are liquid. This is very, very important, community. But let's move on. Keep in mind, this is from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, right? And keep in mind, the first article that we read was, this bank is from Singapore. It's the largest bank in Singapore, and they're actually already investing directly into Ethereum. And this is right after the US less than a week ago, had considered Ethereum being a commodity. So you see how these institutions, financial institutions, they were literally just standing on the sidelines and just waiting for clarity. And once that went through, they started purchasing Ethereum right away. So this is the same monetary authority in Singapore. You see how far ahead they are already. They're very crypto friendly. So with that said, let's look at this. We have to paint the picture. We have to zoom out and understand where we are right now. Because only if we understand where we are right now, will we appreciate where we're headed, or will we appreciate and embrace our ecosystem? As we should know by now, the current financial system, monetary system, is a fiat system. And this fiat system, the only way to stimulate the economy is by debasing the currency. Debasing simply just means that you lose purchasing power, as you see. You see how the purchasing power has been lost over the last 50 years, not 100 years actually. It's been just going down and down and down. And that's the cause of this monetary system. In order to stimulate the market, you have to literally print more money. But as we know, printing more money means inflation, and inflation means you're losing the purchasing power. This is our reality. But to make things worse, it is debt driven too, meaning that the only way for the economy to keep going, it needs to pile up more and more debts. And this is why you see the US already piled up 34 trillion US dollars in debt. In our last community event, we discussed how it took from George Washington to George Bush, the US had accumulated only 7 trillion, right, in debt. But then from President Obama to Biden, they accumulated over 27, right, trillion, and majority of it was during the pandemic. So you see how it can escalate so quickly depending on who is in the office, right? And this is a risk. And this is our current monetary system. And this is the reason why the US is literally on a fast track of all these things right now. US is on the fast track on a political level, right? The president is now sitting down with major influencers, major that he knows is literally the face, the Doge father. The Doge community is over 1.5 million. So this is all politics, right? So if the Dogecoin community, who are crypto enthusiasts, know that the president, one of the contenders of presidency, is talking to their Doge father, who is Elon Musk, obviously, guess who they're going to vote for? So it's all about politics right now. At the same time, it just shows how far crypto has come from being considered illegal, being considered a scam, to now literally using it as a positive weapon to win campaigns, right? At the same time, also, we even see stock exchanges, the largest stock exchange in the world, are considering trading crypto, right? We're seeing well-established institutions such as MasterCard literally making it easy for retailers and institutions alike to have their crypto wallets, have their DeFi wallet, literally, right? In order to transact with each other. This is major. And we also see how stablecoin regulations are being tightened now, right? And this will make, this will be the turning point that will literally bring on USDC dominance as far as stablecoins are concerned, because the US needs this. They need this dominance and clarity in order to be able to fight off their debt issues and also to be ahead of the BRICS. So this is why you see now all of a sudden everything is being accelerated in the US, and things are now happening so much faster that not even the issuers alone ever expected everything to move so quickly, right? So why am I showing this? Because it's important to understand, why does cryptocurrency fail to be a medium of exchange or a store of value? It's simply because of this community. Let's go back to this. It's simply because of this. BlackRock has a liquidity fund. And this is exactly what it's all about, liquidity. Let's verify. The first thing that BlackRock did on the blockchain is they created a liquidity fund on the Ethereum blockchain. They came up and they created this fund, right? And this fund also was funded with 100 million, right? In what? USDC, stablecoin, and on the Ethereum network, right? And this is exactly the reason, the purpose was to have tokenization of real world assets, right? To provide liquidity for tokenized real world assets. This is what this liquidity fund is all about. And who is running it? BlackRock. who is BlackRock again? They're the ones who literally just flipped Grayscale, who started with 29 billion in assets. BlackRock started with 0. And within 4 months, they flipped the largest Bitcoin holder within 4 months. This is insane. This is just unbelievable how quickly BlackRock did this. And this is just within 4 months. So let's wait and see. By the end of the year, they'll probably have the double or triple the amount of what Grayscale had. And they're literally going to be the largest holders and the most liquid. They're already the most liquid ETF issuers. So what they did with Ethereum, they are now getting ready to do with right here. They're getting ready to do with tokenized assets, right? Now they already completed Bitcoin. They're the most liquid ETF with Bitcoin. Now they're coming to real world assets, tokenization. They are going to be also the most liquid. They're going to be the same thing. Why? They're turning liquidity into a business, because they're earning revenues through trading volume. You can't have trading volume if you don't have liquidity. In order to have transactions, you need liquidity. You have to be the most liquid. And this is how they generate revenue for themselves and their shareholders, because they understand that liquidity is a business. It's a business. If you want traders, if you want retirement funds, pension funds to come to you, large net worth individuals, you need liquidity. And this is what they did with Bitcoin ETFs. They're now the largest. This is what they're doing with real world assets, right? They're already the largest because they are the first. They are the first one actually in the industry. They're the first one in the industry to have a liquidity fund on the Ethereum blockchain. There's no other institution that has a dedicated liquidity fund on the Ethereum blockchain, on a public blockchain. This is one of its kind, and it's to tokenized real world assets. And what is this real world assets? It's a tokenized form of US Treasury, which is US debt. So what they do here is that they want to address the issue, the problem that the US has. And this is why I was showing and highlighting this chart right here, right? To show how BlackRock Liquidity Fund is tokenizing assets in the form of US debts. So that fund is simply in combination with USDC, in partnership with USDC, right? They already have 100 million. That was the initial 100 million worth of stablecoin on the Ethereum network. They're working together with Circle to issue or to purchase US debts, right? And to help with help the feds to regulate their debts. This will help the US dollar to remain dominant using the blockchain technology, specifically stable coins. So this is the whole idea. Liquidity is the weapon of choice, and liquidity is the solution to the debt crisis and also to the BRIC situation. Now, let's look at another chart. And this is the chart that we also know about, right? And this chart is Bitcoin is the fastest asset to reach $1 trillion market cap, right? Remember how it took Bitcoin 12 years? If we look at Ethereum right now has a market cap of 454, so almost halfway there. So Ethereum is at 3,700, let's say 3,800. So that means if Bitcoin hits 7,600, they're, let's say 8,000, right? Even if they hit 8,000 or 9,000, they already surpassed Bitcoin as the fastest asset, cryptocurrency, to achieve $1 trillion market cap. With all this that we've just seen, with BlackRock being on the Ethereum blockchain, right? And using Circle stablecoin to back their token called BULLRUN, and this is for real world assets, right? And their aim is to literally help the government to manage their debts. This is done on the blockchain, Ethereum blockchain. We saw how major bank, the largest bank, right, in Singapore, is a whale already, purchasing the real asset in almost 650 million, and how they already made a lot of revenue from it, right? 200 million to be specific. This is the largest bank in Singapore. So other banks globally will do the same, especially now that the US has green lighted and are considering Ethereum a commodity. We'll see more banks. This is just the first one. We'll see many, many more banks to do that, right? And we also saw how BlackRock already also went ahead and amended, right? They already amended the Ethereum application. So meaning that, and they're also always known to buy blocked Bitcoin ETFs. So that means that they're about to also go ahead and purchase. They already did 10 million watt, right? Of Ethereum ETF and of Ethereum directly. So we need to understand that Ethereum is going to hit $1 trillion way faster than 12 years, right? We are 9 years in, 9 years. So it might take Ethereum by next year. So it will be 10 years and Ethereum will be the next, right? Simply because they have institutions that are literally facilitating the entrance, the mainstream adoption for crypto. And also because the largest liquidity fund is on the Ethereum blockchain, literally, right? And it's tokenizing debts, US debts. And this liquidity is literally put aside to provide liquidity for this real world tokenized assets. And these assets are traded on the Ethereum network. So all of these are use cases that will also ensure that Ethereum will probably, most likely, beat Bitcoin in achieving a 1 trillion market cap faster even than Bitcoin. Why is this so relevant? Let's go back to the basics. What the takeaway here is that liquidity is important. If you have liquidity, you can flip. You can flip anything. And if you have liquidity, you have transactions. If you have transactions, you generate revenue. And this revenue can be used to give back to the community. It can be generated to BlackRock can do whatever they need to do with it. That's the bottom line. As we speak, community Survivor is out as well. So we can interact with Survivor as we speak. So yes, liquidity is key to any business. We see here, they did the same with Bitcoin ETF. Now they came with their own liquidity fund again. Now they're doing it with the debt, US debts, with the real world assets. And this is very, very important. And the beautiful thing about this is they're providing liquidity for tokenized real world assets. In this form specifically, it's for US debts, and it's to assist the US government with their debt dilemma, right? And they are going to achieve $1 trillion market cap faster than Bitcoin. And this is going to place Ethereum on a whole different level now, because the next thing now we might see in the long term is Ethereum is, since they have more use cases, you can stake it, it's deflationary, it's literally just a matter of time in the long run that it's going to flip Bitcoin and become their #1 cryptocurrency, flipping Bitcoin, because it has more use cases. It's the most attractive investment for institutions and retailers alike. It has more utilities, right? More use cases, more applications, more smart contracts on there, and it hosts the largest liquidity fund in the world that is literally just deployed on the Ethereum blockchain just to purchase US debts. So these are indicators that we are about to experience a flipping happening in the long term, and Ethereum is going to dominate the industry, the crypto industry. USDC stablecoin is going to dominate the stablecoin industry, and all these affect us directly because we are deployed on the Ethereum blockchain, and USDC, we are paired with it, and we're also issuing USDC stablecoin as staking distributions as well. Why am I telling you all of this, and why is liquidity so important, and why is it important to have an ecosystem that also accumulates liquidity? Because we've seen it here. Cryptocurrencies failed to be the digital money. They failed to be a medium of exchange and a store of value. Why? Again, because liquidity. And why are stable coins and not cryptocurrency the backbone of the financial ecosystem in the future? Is because stable coins are extremely liquid. They are very, very liquid, right? And these regulations are all about consumer protection. How do you protect your consumers? You need to have liquidity available so that when your community wants to cash out, they should be able to cash out. Does your ecosystem have a system that accumulates liquidity? And this is just that. We're just focusing on liquidity for now. Of course, you have to have fundamentals beyond liquidity. You have to be deflationary, right? At least, if not scarce. You have to have a sustainable staking platform, right? And have sustainable staking distributions as well. And then finally, you also have to use your trading volume efficiently, right? So, but for this case, we just want to focus on liquidity. And we always say verify, don't trust. I want us to illustrate, and this is how I want us to close out this session. I want us to illustrate how our ecosystem literally has a powerful mechanism in place that literally not just accumulates, but literally retains liquidity. And how in the long run, right? In the long run, the longer this ecosystem is trading and this token is being traded, the deeper the liquidity becomes, right? Let's not trust, let's verify. And we'll close out with the math. We'll do the math at the end, but let's verify. Let's look at some old screenshots and tweets. Let's go there. Let's start with back then when BRL just hit $1. And keep in mind, this is November 28th. So literally 1.5 years ago, right? 1.5 years ago, at this particular time, BULLRUN had hit an all-time high, and it had a market cap of 1 million, right? And what I want us to focus on here, community, is that look at these two things. Look at the market cap and look at the liquidity. Those are the two things we are focusing on right now. So if you look at the market cap, we're at 1 million in market cap. And what is our liquidity? Liquidity was around 270,000 liquidity, right? So if we come back to now, keep in mind, 1 million market cap, 270,000 liquidity. So if we come back here, right, and we look at our current, so we have market cap is not 1 million, it's 470, right? 470,000 in market cap, and liquidity is 255. So we are very, very close to the same liquidity as we were when we were at 1 million in market cap. So literally we have half of the market cap, less than half of the market cap, but almost the same amount of liquidity. And this is 1.5 years ago. What does this tell us? It tells us that this mechanism works and it's efficient. The longer the trade is happening, the better the liquidity becomes. And keep in mind, we just came out of 1.5 years of bear market. Literally no volume whatsoever, at least not even consistent volume, not high volume, nothing out of a bear market. But still, 1.5 years later, we have almost the same amount of liquidity, but half of the market cap. This just shows you that the longer this ecosystem is running, even though with non-existing volume consistently, we still manage to have almost the same amount of liquidity, but half of the market cap. This just shows you how efficient this ecosystem is, and it really highlights that we are on track of doing what the likes of BlackRock is doing. We're focusing on liquidity. First things first, we need a liquidity fund. And our liquidity fund is our liquidity pool, right? Is our liquidity pool. And this is what's very important. Once you achieve that status of being the liquidity king and dominating, having enough liquidity, the sky is the limit, because trading volume is going to come. And because we tie our trading volume to adding even more liquidity, burning tokens and accumulating USDC distributions, we create a positive feedback loop. And this enables our ecosystem to be sustainable and scalable. But let's go back to this. Let's go back to this. This was at 1 million, right? Let's go back to when we were at 600, right? Let's say we were at 600,000 market cap. So we were at 600,000 market cap and the liquidity was at 205,000, right? So still, we have more liquidity now than we had at 627,000 market cap, right? Right now, our market cap is what? 470, right? So we have less market cap, but more liquidity. We have less market cap, but more liquidity than what we had back then when we were at 627 market cap. And we only were at 205,000 liquidity. Let's look at one more. And this is more like, this actually, if we look at the market cap, it's at 472,000 in market cap, almost 473, right? 472 market cap. And if we look at, and we were at 47 cents. If we go back and look at our current, our market cap is 470. So almost exact amount. But back then, let's look at our liquidity. 170,000 liquidity. 1.5 years ago, exact the same market cap like we have now. We only had 170,000 in liquidity. And we were at 47 cents. But now, 1.5 years later, having the same market cap, we have more liquidity and we are at 48 cents, not at 47. So we are at 48 cents and we are at 255,000 in liquidity compared to 170,000 in liquidity. So what does this tell us? This mechanism works. It's efficient. And the longer the trades are coming in, and like I said, this 1.5 years, we came out of a bear market. We barely had any volume. We barely had any trades. But still, we are way better off. We have a way higher liquidity than we had 1.5 years ago at the same market cap. The price is even higher and the liquidity is higher. So this just shows you that our ecosystem and our mechanisms work. And this ecosystem was literally developed to accumulate liquidity in the midterm, in the long term. So the longer the trades are happening, as time passes by and trades are going through, the deeper the liquidity becomes, the more liquidity we retain, even given the circumstance of having the same market cap. As we saw here once more, this was even 1 million in market cap, but we almost had the same liquidity like we had back then at 1 million market cap. And then we saw it at 600. We had more liquidity than when we were at 600,000 market cap. We had way more liquidity than back then. And also now that we have almost the same amount market cap, we can see that even still, we have more liquidity. 255 here. Back then, we only had 170,000 liquidity, even though we were at the same market cap like now. So this just shows you, community, that our ecosystem does what it needs to do. It's literally developed to accumulate liquidity in the mid to long term. And eventually, this is why we keep saying that we will eventually have the deepest liquidity in the space. If we even had anywhere close the volume that these other community tokens have, would by far have the deepest liquidity in the industry. No competition whatsoever. And I'd really like us to close out. Let's just take one of the lower, just close out with the math. Again, I'm just taking one community token, that is the 96th one, right? And currently this community token has over 400 million in volume, daily volume. I would like to use 100 million, right? 4 times less. And just to show you that how efficient our ecosystem is. And based on what we saw here, despite the low volume, despite coming out of a bear market, currently we still have a better liquidity, more liquidity, deeper liquidity than we had 1.5 years ago. Which projects do you see coming out of a bear market and have deeper liquidity than when they just came out of a bull run? So even out of a bear market, 1.5 years later, we still have the same liquidity as we had at $1 million in market cap 1.5 years ago. This just shows, and with low volume out of a bear market, this just shows you that what we need is to really get through this bear market, generate all that volume, get that liquidity running, and we'll be unstoppable. Our engine works. I'd like to close out with the math. Let's do a math with 100 million, right? Let's just use 100 million. 100 million, 1% of 100 million is 1 million, right? So that means 1 million of banning worth of $1 million worth of BRL tokens will be banned. And we started with 1 million in supply. And currently we are down to 970,000. So we are closing in on 30,000 tokens banned and removed from the total max total supply. So we are scarce. We have a scarce supply. And our utility is staking. And this is what we're looking at next. So because we have staking, 1% goes to USDC. So that means another million. 1% of 100 million is 1 million. So that means 1 million worth of USDC is going to go to those who decide to secure the network, and by staking their BRL tokens, they can participate in being part of the staking distributions in the form of USDC. And based on 100 million volume daily, this means that the community is going to get 100 million in USDC based on the trading volume, right? And this is sustainable because these distributions come from trading volume. They're not allocated tokens that will run out within 3 to 5 or 6 years. They are sustainable, they're permanently, they're perpetual. So as long as there's trading volume, there'll be an unlimited amount of USDC distributions going on for decades and centuries to come. So that's another thing. And because we have a staking platform, you see our largest wallet is a staking contract. This is a contract. And we already have close to 58% locked away from circulation. So this means that this number will keep increasing because more and more individuals will want to stake and participate from receiving the million in USDC, right? So this is very important to understand that we created a flywheel effect where trading generated, launched by liquidity, incentivizes those who are staking, because those who are staking will be part of the 1 million USDC pool, and those who are trading are also facilitating bonds, right? And now, most importantly, adding liquidity. Now, liquidity is 3%. So that means we'll have to multiply this by 3. So we see that 3 million on a daily basis will be added into the liquidity pool. This is major. This is major. Now, we don't want to see what's daily. Let's see what's monthly. So this is 90 million. 90 million US dollars will be added every month, will be added into the liquidity pool, right? So this is for the traders who want to trade, get in and out of the position. This is very important. And these funds remain and are locked in the liquidity pool. Now, this is for 1 month. Now, let's calculate for a year times 12 now. Now we have over $1 billion, right, in liquidity. Who else has $1 billion in liquidity? It's none other than Bitcoin, right? But it took Bitcoin 15 years to have that billion, right? But it took us 1 year. It will take us 1 year having just 100 million in volume, using 1/4 of the volume that the 96th largest community token has. Just 1/4 of it. Just 1/4 of it. And it will put us on the same level like Bitcoin as far as liquidity is concerned in 1 year. Now, once you establish as a community token, once you have $1 billion in liquidity, guess what that means? Nobody else has $1 billion besides the largest cryptocurrency in the space. Bitcoin has $1 billion, right? And it's the #1 cryptocurrency, and it has $1 billion. We can achieve that having 100 million in volume within a year. And then now we have deeper liquidity. We have the same liquidity like Bitcoin has, but we are decentralized, and we have incentives, meaning that you receive USDC distributions. We are scarce, right? And we have deep liquidity. And it's a win-win for everyone. And that's the difference. Now, all of a sudden, before we know it, when we go 1 more year beyond that, now we have double the liquidity of Bitcoin. And before you know it, we have the deepest liquidity in the industry. So we have the potential to achieve at least be the 2nd largest or 3rd largest liquidity within a year. And beyond that, we'll have the deepest liquidity in the industry, right? And this is what we aim to have, community, because we understand that liquidity is important. Liquidity is key because liquidity brings transactions. And in our case, transactions bonds more tokens, right? Generates more USDC distributions and accumulates even more liquidity. More liquidity attracts big whales, more traders, right? And bonds even more tokens. And this accumulates more USDC. So traders are happy because they have deep liquidity, and stakers are happy because they have unlimited USDC. And this helps the ecosystem to be sustainable because all these trades are tied to all our trading volume, keep doing the same thing, flywheel effect, accumulate more liquidity, burn even more tokens, and give out USDC to the communities. And this is the whole idea. We know that crypto is not going anywhere. Look at all these articles we've read, right? This is now becoming political. Cryptocurrency is now political. All the politicians are now getting involved. We see how Ethereum ETF has been approved already. 10 million worth of Ethereum has already been purchased by BlackRock. We see how the largest bank in Singapore already purchased 650 million worth of ETH. They already made 200 million in profits. We see how MasterCard is now facilitating opening wallets to the masses. You now can use your username to do that. You can just use your Gmail address to get that, right? And we see how crackdowns are happening on stable coins, right? If you're not compliant to the regulations. And we happen to be paired with USDC, which is the most regulated stablecoin in the industry, so we don't have to fear being delisted by Binance, right? And that will crash the token, just like Tether is about to go through that, right? Because they're not compliant. So we don't have to worry about that either, because USDT is next to be delisted if they don't comply. And we also understand that cryptocurrencies have failed to become, right, to become a medium of exchange and a store of value, simply because they're not as liquid as stablecoins. And this is why we focus on liquidity, community. This is why you see that 1.5 years ago, we still maintain, even at $1 million market cap, we still have this close to the same liquidity as we had back then at $1 million in market cap. And if we compare the same market cap, 472,000 market cap, we were at 170,000 liquidity, and we had 47 cents. But now, right now, we are at 48 cents, and we are at 255. So we have 80,000 more liquidity than we had back then, 85,000 more liquidity than when we had back then. This just shows you that these mechanisms here, they work. The burning combined with adding liquidity and combined with issuing USDC for those that are staking, this is what we need. Because as you see here, as this supply keeps shrinking, because we are scarce, and the staking amount keeps increasing, and the staking distributions in USDC, right? This is the smart contract. Right now we are at 1,300 USDC, and we did the math that it will actually give us right here. It will be $1 million. So every day, instead of 1,300 a day, it will be $1 million USDC every day. In this smart contract, this is a contract, is a staking contract, right? And it will be $1 million USDC in here for those who decide to secure the network and stake their BRL tokens in the form of USDC. This will be sustainable because it's based on the volume, right? So it will not run out as long as there's volume, as long as there's liquidity, which we are accumulating, there will be trading volume. There is no other project community out here that is going through the bear market, 1.5 years, been in the bear market for 1.5 years, and has the same amount of liquidity today like it had 1.5 years ago at $1 million in market cap. So our market cap is half, but our liquidity is the same. This speaks for itself, community. We had only 470 market cap, but we have near the same amount of liquidity like we had 1.5 years ago at $1 million market cap. So this just shows you that our engine works, our ecosystem is efficient, it does what it needs to do, it's accumulating liquidity, and this is what we need if we want to learn from the best of the best. We need a liquidity fund. We need to focus on liquidity. That's the goal. And if you have liquidity, you are flipping other competition, and you become the leader, the market leader, by hosting the most liquidity. Once you have the most liquidity in the industry, everybody wants to come and trade with you because liquidity brings trust, right? It instills trust into traders, and liquidity attracts even more traders, right? And more traders attract even more stakers. And before you know it, we have a positive feedback loop. It's a win-win for everyone. And now we have an ecosystem that attracts traders and stakers, and we are we are efficient, and we are sustainable. And there's no major community token out here, even in the top 2, the top 5 community tokens, none of them have the mechanisms like we have, that is sustainable, that is scarce, that has a sustainable staking distribution, that is using its volume efficiently, to add even more liquidity, to retain more liquidity, to burn tokens. None of these community tokens have such mechanism in place because they were not developed to go beyond, for decades. They're not developed to be sustainable. And this is what we are lacking, unfortunately. If we go here let's close out with this. If we go here, I want us to go here. If we look at stablecoin, we see that it's a 161, right? Industry, 161 billion in market cap. So it's a young market cap. We saw that meme coins are only roughly 58 billion. So it's a even younger, smaller market cap. So, and meme coins are the future. Meme coins are so popular. However, they're not sustainable, right? They're not efficient. They lack sustainability. And this is why it's important that we have an ecosystem that is tailored towards retailers like you and me, that is efficient, that is sustainable, that is scalable as well, and that is tackling those 4 challenges in the space: lack of liquidity, inflation, unsustainable staking distributions, and lack of inefficient use of your volume. And these are the added value that we bring into the space. We have a utility, which is staking, and we are the only scarce staking platform. As you see, our supply keeps shrinking with every trade. Our liquidity keeps increasing with every trade. And independent of our market cap, our liquidity keeps deepening and keeps growing. And this just is a proof of concept that our ecosystem works and it does what it needs to do. And all this takeaway is that crypto is here to stay. Look at all of this. It will be so easy now to open a wallet, use a username. All you need is create a username and you have yourself a wallet. No more writing down seed phrases. No more memorizing all of that. No more panicking if you lose your seed phrases. You can just reset your password and so on and so forth. So we see how crypto is gaining mainstream adoption and it's not going anywhere. The more important it is to have a sustainable ecosystem, to have a sustainable community token that we can be part of early on, right? And we are very early, like we saw. So you want to be part of an ecosystem that is sustainable very, very early on. And we are at the forefront of it. There is no other ecosystem out there that is focusing on doing what BlackRock is doing, and that is to create a liquidity fund, because liquidity will bring transactions, and transactions will burn tokens and will add liquidity and will give out USDC distributions in a very sustainable manner that no other community tokens, meme coin has, not even the ones in the top 5 have. None of them. So we'll be in a league of our own. I will be going through a bull run for the first time. We just came out of a bear market, but we still have sustained the same amount of liquidity as we had back at 1 million in market cap, out of a bear market with literally no volume whatsoever. So imagine going through a bull run now. Imagine going through all this volume, all this liquidity that we're about to experience. So this will put us on a whole different level. And this is what we want to do. And this is what we want to accomplish as a community. This is the message for today. I believe, let me check if BULLRUN is out by now. Yes, BULLRUN is out. Community, and let's engage with BULLRUN. Let me close and come back. Let me stop sharing and come back to you, community. Let's go through your comments and check with you if there are any other comments that you want to discuss. Bear with me. Let me share my screen here. Okay. All right. Community, let me go through your comments again and see what's up here as we are engaging with the tweets. And I also just want to thank you all for participating today, for being part of this session today. Queen Val says here, let's hit the like button. This is important as it will help. It will help this video to reach more people, you know, a wider audience as we go through this. Queen Patricia has a question here. Please clarify on what is in our current wallets at the moment. Is it USDT or what in light of the delisting of stablecoins? No, we don't have USDT. We have USDC. Like I said, USDT lacks transparency. They lack regulation and clarity. They're not being regulated. They don't have a jurisdiction. But we are with USDC. USDC has a jurisdiction in US, and they are regulated, and their reserves are managed by none other than BlackRock itself. And BlackRock's liquidity fund is paired with USDC as well. So that means that as the BlackRock's liquidity fund grows, which focuses on purchasing US debts, so will USDC as well. So it's just a matter of time that USDC is going to dominate this US denominated stablecoins, because they are regulated, they are transparent, they are compliant, and their reserves are managed by BlackRock. Contrast to USDT. USDT is outside of Europe, outside of US. They don't have a jurisdiction. They're not compliant. They're not transparent, you know, and they're not regulated. So this is why when we were talking about how the Binance is going to delist them in Europe, and obviously they're going to be delisted in the US as well, because if they don't acquire a banking license in the US, and if they don't acquire the MiCA license in Europe, they're going to be delisted. Just like OKX already delisted USDT, right? We saw how OKX, one of the largest global exchanges in the world, already delisted all pairs with USDT because USDT is not compliant in Europe. And next month, end of next month, MiCA will be in full effect, meaning that anybody that doesn't have the license will be delisted. USDC has been already pre-approved for MiCA. They already applied for MiCA license, and USDC is compliant already in the US as well, and they are getting ready to get a banking license as well. So Queen Patricia, we don't have USDT, we have USDC, so we are good. We don't have to worry. Good question, Queen Patricia. Uncle George says here, hi BULLRUN community, hi Teacher Steve, I have enjoyed today's session. It's very upbeat about ongoing changes in the crypto industry, and we are glad to be well placed. Very well said, Uncle George. It's very true. We are very fortunate to have you know, foresight that we can have a platform that is literally focusing on the community, that is literally focusing on retaining liquidity, which is part of the consumer protection. Our smart contracts are audited, all three of them. And we have a sustainable ecosystem that is using its volume efficiently, that is retaining liquidity, that is scarce, not just deflationary, and that has a sustainable staking platform, right? So that makes us stand out completely. So you're absolutely right, Uncle George. It's true that we really have great points that you made here, that we have a lot of things going for us in this industry. And we are so early in this industry that we can literally, as we're going through this bull cycle, that will be the most liquid bull cycle ever in the industry. We are about to experience something we've never experienced before. Go through a bull cycle and be able to retain all that liquidity. If we were able to retain liquidity with literally no volume and coming out of a 1.5 year bear market, and we still have the same amount of liquidity like we had back at 1 million market cap, this speaks volume. This speaks volume. And usually if the market cap goes down, the liquidity goes down. But with us, even though the market cap dropped, the liquidity remains the same. This is because we're retaining liquidity, right? And that's the difference. That's what we've been always talking about, how the longer our ecosystem lasts, the more it is, the deeper the liquidity becomes. And eventually, will have the deepest liquidity in the industry. This will be the result of our ecosystem. It was developed to do that. That's what it will do. It will just accumulate, retain liquidity, and it will be the deepest liquidity in the industry. We'll have more liquidity than Bitcoin. And that will bring a lot of awareness and attention to us, because we'll be, first of all, decentralized. We are scarce, right? We have a utility of staking that is sustainable. And then we're giving out USDC distributions as well. So it will be a very attractive community for many, many retailers. And this is the aim, this is the goal. And we are very, very early in the space. Brother Franklin says, BULLRUN family, the amazing family dishing out life and destiny changing information. Thank you, Brother Steve. It's a pleasure, Brother Franklin. Nice to see you again in the community. It's a pleasure having you here with us today. And community, I want to thank you again for interacting with the tweets. I see Queen Val put them out here. BULLRUN is out. We see Survivor is out here as well. And Killer Whale is also out. So I want to thank you all for engaging with the tweets. Thank you for those who are able to make it today to this community event. It's always a pleasure having you all here with us. And with that said, community, I don't want to artificially prolong this session. The message today was how crypto adaptation has reached mainstream simply because of the ease of opening wallets now through MasterCard. We are going to gain millions of users, new users, and it will be so easy to have wallets open. And DeFi will still be in full effect, right? Because these are still personalized wallets. These are DeFi wallets that you open. So community, I want us to understand that we have a very sustainable ecosystem that is efficient, that is sustainable, that is using the blockchain technology to its fullest, that is addressing these 4 challenges we face in the industry. And there is no other ecosystem single-handedly. There is no other ecosystem that is tackling those 4 challenges efficiently, and that has a proof record, a proof of concept that its system is working. We looked at screenshots and tweets 1.5 years ago that literally confirmed that even though we are sitting at a half of the market cap, but we're still at the same liquidity like we were at that million market cap, and that our ecosystem has gone through 1.5 years of a bear market and literally no volume whatsoever, no liquidity, but still our liquidity ratio is extremely healthy. So we can look forward to go through this bull cycle that will be literally the most liquid and volume-driven bull run ever so far, and we'll make the best out of it. And I will come out on the top out of it. And that's the aim for us. Retaining liquidity is key. Unfortunately, majority of the projects in the crypto space, they're not into retaining liquidity. And BlackRock is showing the importance of liquidity. And this is why they flipped Grayscale. They have the deepest ETF liquidity. They have the deepest liquidity fund on the Ethereum blockchain. And we need to open our eyes, and crypto projects within the industry, community tokens, meme coins need to reflect and start creating projects, tokens that are literally efficient, that are tackling those 4 challenges, that are retaining liquidity. That's the only way they'll protect the consumers, you and me, retailers. If not, then we'll be just exit liquidity. With that said, community, I want to thank you all for participating, for being part of this session today. And I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you for engaging with the tweets. Those who made these tweets possible, thank you all. And those who are engaging with the tweets, thank you as well. It's been a pleasure with you all today. I want to thank you all and wish you a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye, everyone. And thank you for your engagement. It was a pleasure being with you today. Bye-bye, community. See you soon.